Hey, this is Aaron.
And Fariso, welcome to Sunday Rewind.
Sunday School Rewind. Thank you for tuning back in. If you've been with us this far, give yourself a round of applause.
Hey.
Like we told Zendaya, clap, 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 clap. Oh my gosh, she is maturing very, very quickly around here.
Yeah, she's pretty smart.
She is very smart.
Snapper.
But she will not be with us today again. Sorry, listen. I know you're there. I know you're there for her, not really us.
I know, for her sweet little sounds.
But we are recording again past her bedtime. But we promise, like the promises that you'll learn today.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I see what you did there.
Woo! Corny.
Dad joke.
Dad joke. But we will have her in one of our episodes coming soon. But if you have not been with us, go back to episode 1, not the pilot. That's Adam and Eve. Go back to episode 1 and listen to Noah, him building the ark, because now we are talking about the God's promise. Last one was the flood, episode 2. And
that
now
flood,
yes.
Everybody, he killed off everybody.
Man, that was a rough. That was the Carnival cruise I don't want to be on.
Oh my god, another dad joke.
Sorry.
Please make it stop.
Sorry. Definitely don't want to be on that ride, but you definitely want to learn about it, and so go back and check that out. And so, as you know about what we do is we read the children's book first.
Explain it to me like I were.
Exactly, and then we'll jump into the adult Bible. And so today we have our host, Fariso, that is going to give us her best interpretation of this reading.
Cool. All right.
God's promise.
Noah opened the doors of the enormous boat, and all the animals went out onto dry land. God made Noah a promise. He promised that he would never again destroy the world. Whenever you see a rainbow in the sky, he said, remember my promise and know that I will keep it.
Whew. He will keep it.
Amen.
Rainbow in the sky, y'all.
It's a reminder for us of God's promise.
Yes. And so we are actually going to be reading from, if you're going to be following with us in the Bible, we are going to be on Genesis 8:20, going all the way through Genesis 9, stopping at 9:17. We're not going to get into Noah's descendants because that just will...
It's a juicy story, though, if you want to read it on your own. It's juicy. Read about that.
Yeah, read about that. So the first thing we learn, just from his covenant, I'm going to read the first two stands. It says on verse 20, chapter 8, then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took some of every clean animal and some of every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And when the Lord smelt the pleasing aroma, the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the intentions of man's heart is evil from its youth. Okay, let's get this straight, y'all.
That's a lot.
My man said, the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma of burning flesh of clean animals. That's wild. But I got a little story though. So I do practice medicine, and I remember as I was rotating through PA school, you got to go through, ER, surgery, general med, all that kind of stuff. And so I remember surgery, doing one of my first surgeries, and I didn't eat before. So didn't eat before, bad idea. Surgeries could sometimes take from 30 minutes to 8 hours, a whole day. And so pretty much I didn't eat.
Oh my gosh.
I'm hungry.
Oh my gosh.
And something that you gotta do sometime in surgery is you gotta open up, the cavities, and part of that opening up cavities is like getting past, the flesh, the connective tissue down to, the fat, and you do something called a bovie sometimes, which is like a very heated element to like get through the fat, and I
I hope you're not about to say what I think you're going to
and
say.
I promise,
Oh my gosh.
it sounds wild, but I promise you, a lot of people go through this. I'm not the only one. I'm not wild. I'm not a cannibal. But I remember
Oh my
burning
goodness. Oh my gosh.
the fat, and literally, literally getting more hungry. Like it literally,
Wow.
it smells terrible, but weirdly enough, it actually makes your appetite go up some. Look it up. I'm not the only person that goes through this.
Oh
I
gosh.
promise you, this happens.
This is
This happens.
interesting. Okay.
But so when he said the pleasant aroma, I was like, you know what?
I understand.
That's terrible. Like, but I kind of get it. I kind of get it. And so
Okay, I think
that's wild.
sorry.
Yeah.
I think maybe we're taking it too literal. It does sound crazy, but I wonder if it's more like just like, oh, the people, the righteous, or not the righteous, but the people who love me, they're doing something like in remembrance of me. So maybe it's like that kind of like maybe it's like a vibey thing versus
Mm-hmm.
a literal aroma. I don't know. What do
Yeah.
you think?
I really don't think about the Lord smelling for some reason
I
or
imagine. I
tasting.
imagine.
Even though I know,
I imagine God does have.
I don't think
I
about.
don't know.
I don't think about eyes. I don't think about noses. I don't think about like ears.
You
You
know
know.
what's interesting? It would be interesting to really find out what that word aroma means. I have a feeling it might mean something a
Mm-hmm.
little bit deeper than just like smell. It
Mm-hmm.
could be like a presence or like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just talking.
No, I no, no, no. I think everything has meaning in the
Yeah.
Bible. So
And
I'm
it's been translated from
yeah.
different languages. So,
Yeah. And so we also learned like there's this aroma, this thing of aroma actually comes up a lot in the Bible.
mm,
In Leviticus, like I'll just read one.
mm-hmm.
One verse, Leviticus 1:13. But the entrails and the legs he shall wash with water, and the priest shall offer all of it and burn it on the altar. It is burnt offering and food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Leviticus 1:17. And the priest shall burn it on the altar on the woods that is on the fire. It's a burnt offering, a food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Leviticus 2:9. And the priest shall take from the grains offered memorial portions and burn this on the altar, a food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Like, like,
Mm-hmm.
like the offering had a great smell to it. You know.
If it means smell.
Yeah, if it means smell.
I can't think of a verse, but there's something in the New Testament, but it's just like us who like, live by the Spirit, we're also like a pleasing aroma to God.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. Like here it's about sacrifice, but in the New Testament, it might be a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just a side quest, y'all. Y'all looked it up for us and try to,
Yeah, let us
what
know.
does aroma
Let us
really
know
mean?
in the comments, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our scholars out there, our research scholars, let us
Yeah.
know.
Um,
And so, a little nothing. So I also read it says the intention of man's heart is evil from its youth.
oh, here we go again. It's a lot. Evil from his youth.
yeah, exactly. So like I was thinking
First
like
we killing people, now we're like
now we're
saying we're
evil.
evil from
Yeah,
babies. Like
yeah,
I don't know how to comprehend.
yeah.
I
To
don't
me,
I
that
don't
was
get it.
like I didn't understand that too much.
My translation says bent towards evil from childhood. That's a little bit softer.
Towards
Bent towards
evil
evil.
from childhood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a little
yeah.
softer.
So I guess how I was trying to interpret it is that we're not born evil versus as we grow up, we learn more from the world, and that allows us to stray away and possibly do evil things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, and so like our intentions can sometimes be skewed by mankind, um, and so He knows that's in our heart, even though we might be like living on God's terms, and
Mm-hmm.
and we want to be more like Him. We still have possible evilness that can take over if we allow it.
Mm-hmm.
And that does happen more at youth, I think. Like we see more things. We're absorbing more things. So if we don't have a good system around us, if we're not in a good church or we're not in a good community, our
Mm-hmm.
parents are not teaching us the word, you know, we can go astray pretty quickly.
Well,
So
even like in Adam and Eve, how we talked about like you put something there and you tell a person not to touch it, it just automatically is going to spark
I
that
gotta touch it.
curiosity and make them want to touch it.
I gotta touch it.
And
Faux show.
yeah, I mean, we have a baby. I don't even want to bring her up in this context, honestly.
She touches
But
everything.
but whatever we tell her not to do,
I'm
she's very passionate about trying to
I'm
do
gonna
it.
do it.
I'm a go to this outlet. I'm gonna try to pull this cord. I'm gonna pull your hair. I'm gonna
She,
slap you in your face.
she does it, and the funny thing, she does it, and she looks at you first and says, "Hey, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna let you know. I want you to watch me do it."
And she's 10 months, but like I don't know, it's just it feels so, I don't know, maybe that's what it means, like if we're, because it makes a little bit more sense saying bent towards evil from childhood.
Mm-hmm.
That I can understand it, because to me that means like, okay, if we're presented with a choice, we're kind of going to be tempted to not follow um the right path that God necessarily wants us on. That's going to be more of a struggle, or take more perseverance rather.
And mind you, I'm reading from the English Standard Version, so that's why my version might be a little bit different from Friso's.
And I'm reading from New Living
Yeah.
Translation.
So it's good to have different verbiage to know what the context might be.
All right, let's move on to good news from the bad news of being bent towards evil. We're still in verse 21.
Read it for us.
I will never again destroy all living things. So that is God's promise. He says, all right, I wiped y'all out the first time. I ain't never going to do that again. Okay. All right, so that's the good news.
That is the good news.
Even though y'all are bent towards evil, I'm going to let y'all live. I'm going to let you live.
I got you.
Although he did shorten the lifespan, I think, to 120 years earlier.
Yeah, I can't live like Noah anymore.
Yeah,
600 plus years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which it's probably a good thing.
Probably. Well, you don't want to spend 600 years with me?
I never said I don't want to spend it with you. I'm just imagining are their legs still working? Fully properly? Obviously,
he built a boat.
He built a boat, so
an ark.
Ark. Yeah. I would spend 900 years with you.
Oh.
If God allowed it, but you only got 120, so let's make it count.
All right.
So he does promise us that he won't strike down living creatures anymore. Mm-hmm. He talks about also like earth remains, seed time, harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. And so we know back in Genesis, Genesis 1, about how he made day and night, how that was created. Mm-hmm. And now he's saying, I'm going to preserve it. Mm-hmm. He talks about like, seeds, so we think about crop, we think about harvest, like he said, I'm going to preserve that for you. Like our summers, our winters, those will come through the seasons. Mm-hmm. I won't tamper on that. And so very merciful.
I'm gonna let y'all live.
Exactly.
Wait.
Hold up. All
right. I don't even want to ask the question, but why would God, I'm back, I'm rewinding. Why would God create us to be bent towards evil? Like, he created us, so like, why would you create us to be that way? I think that is one of those enduring questions. Like, why? Why didn't you just create us to be bent towards good?
So, I think, when you say bent, when I think of bent towards evil, it's the fact that I think of it in the sense of like, we're surrounded by temptations. So we're surrounded by things that are going to tempt us. We talked about earlier about, Jesus in the wilderness, and how he was tempted by all these different things, to eat when he was, like on a fast, and so I think our humanistic ways are going to, I think of it as like, are we going to follow him? Like I don't know if it's like a test versus like how our loyalty, to him.
Right. We have to have free
Um,
will, otherwise we'd be
yeah,
a bunch of robots, and it's kind of like,
yeah. Then
what's the point, you know?
exactly. And so I think the eye of bent towards it is not supposed to say that we are going to become evil versus that he gave us free will to decide what we want to do. Um, but he knows his way is going to give us the best fruit. Um, uh, and it's up to us to like accept it or not. Um, but yeah, I mean, it does suck that I have to be tempted, about things,
I mean, or at
you
least why
know.
not bent towards good rather than like
But
give
what
me a little bit of an advantage, you know what I mean? Like I
but
understand
what would that
having
look
to
like?
just like it would look like back to Adam and Eve, like not like necessarily having my first or second instinct being to get the apple, that I would kind of like it wouldn't be as much of a struggle.
But yeah, true. But to me, even in that sense, the snake still got her off her rocker in some sort of sense, right? Like why would God tell you like to eat everything but size this apple? And so even though we're bent towards good, it sounds like evil still was a temptation that they had to reconcile with. And I thought of it as a way of like, if you feel like you really want it, you're going to get it. Like you're going to like try it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it was the idea like you have all these perfect things I'm gonna give you, but you still want to try this one little thing I told you not to try, And so like even though they were bent towards good, to me evil still was gonna come and tempt them, no matter what. And so I don't know if that's even them being bent towards good. Then they're like were they always bent towards evil in a sense? Um, but God put them in a sanctuary where everything was good.
Mm-hmm.
you know. So even being protected and being covenant and being protected by God, that's not enough for you not to decide to go astray. You still have to believe in what he's given you. It's like giving a kid like some candy or some fruit and being like, I promise this fruit is going to make you stronger, better, good, and
Mm-hmm.
do well. If the kid looks at the candy and had candy
Yeah.
before you and he's
Uh-huh.
like, I know that's gonna be good, but I know that's great already,
Uh-huh.
so I'm gonna try that. And so it's like, you know, I guess it goes back to free will, type of stuff.
I'm glad you got a handle on it, cause
I mean, it's still trash. I don't want to be that, but it's just like,
I'm glad you
yeah,
shout out to the husbands who cover their wives. Okay, I'm glad you understand it. Okay,
we
keep me
both.
prayed up.
I got you. And so to go a little bit farther in, we're going Genesis 9. The verse 2. The
Back
fear.
to Noah's Ark. We
Yes.
detoured a little bit.
The fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every bird of the heavens, upon everything that creeps on the ground and all the fish of the sea. So
Wait,
this showed
hold
the
on.
fact that what happened?
Oh, it's confusing a little bit. Okay,
So let
never
me
mind.
read again. So verse 2, the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every bird of the heavens, upon everything that creeps on the ground and all the fish of the sea. So he gives kind of like a hierarchy now of like animals, sea life are going to fear you in a sense. And I think of fear, I think of like, you have some authority over animals.
Mm-hmm.
We saw back in Adam and Eve, once, sorry, going back a little bit, that Adam was naming all the animals, so that there's some hierarchy in that kind of concept. And he's giving that back to us. Like, you are kind of like above, more, which is funny because I think a lot of people would, the other left side would be like kind of upset about this because they'd be like, well, dolphins are just as smart and smarter than us.
The left, you know,
Yeah,
like PETA.
yeah, and they probably are, but he's still saying that we
Yeah.
have authority over that.
Mm-hmm.
We still have authority over these of all creatures, and so
And I feel like a lot of this is similar to what we saw in Adam and Eve, because basically the context is the world has been wiped out and he's starting the world all over again. So he's giving the same kind of commandment: be fruitful and multiply, refill this earth. Um, and in Adam and Eve, Adam was naming all the animals, and he said, I think he said, like, have dominion. So I feel like we were kind of already having authority over the animals. I think this is the first time, though. I think, like you mentioned, um, that he's given instructions in terms of food. Like back then in the garden,
Yeah.
it seems like they were probably like vegetarians or vegans, and now.
Now they can actually eat meat. It says on verse 3, every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. And as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. But you should not just eat flesh with its life, that is its blood. So he's also showing the fact that like nutrients is in the meat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we learned about, clean meat, unclean meat. We talked about that last time.
Mm-hmm.
The Mosaic Law and how that created the stance of what's clean and what's unclean. But we're learning in Noah's time that he kind of knew that before. But we also learned this that, blood is life. So we don't drink blood. Blood is not something that, we're supposed to partake in. Because
But we do it today.
in what form?
So like, I mean, I think that this is referring to like, like with the really traditional Jewish people, how they eat kosher. So
Mm-hmm.
the meat that they eat, they remove the blood from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's what it is versus like people who just regularly eat meat. The blood is still in there. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Okay. I guess the context I was thinking of is like drinking the blood, itself. I mean, I know like there is blood in the meat, but how I envisioned it is like I'm not supposed to eat like raw meat that has like blood squeezed into it. So that was my interpretation. And the only reason I think about that is when I think about like life in the blood, like how Jesus died on the cross and how what his blood meant, shed for us. And so it's like the blood has a different symbolism, rather than meat is like for sacrifice and for dietary consumption. So, but it's just interesting how he specifies this out. Like he's very specific about like, don't do that, but you can do this.
Let us know what y'all think in the comments. What is that lifeblood all about?
Yeah, tell us. And Freeze's gonna like this part. And so in verse
Why do you always say I'm
verse 6?
You said that earlier today. I don't know why he thinks
because Frieza's all about judgment.
No.
Wow, she's
really?
She's all about
that. Don't y'all? That's the last thing I'm about is judgment. You mean justice?
Justice,
not judge. Not judgment.
Oh yeah, my bad. Justice. Yo, that's wild.
Judge exactly. Like,
that's
please
wild.
Don't confuse.
That's
like, yeah, like.
Let's rewind that. Go back.
Please.
Woo!
Can you take that back and rephrase? Oh my gosh.
Frieza's about justice.
I hope was that a Freudian slip?
Yeah, my bad. I apologize.
He said it strong with his chest.
Yes. It's justice. That's wild. That is
justice.
Wild. But I say that because she likes a lot of Judge Judy. She likes a lot of like law. She's always in the news.
I come from a family with many lawyers in it.
Yes,
so
exactly. And so verse 6 says, whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. God is literally saying, blood for blood. If someone comes after your family, take that life back.
Yep.
And to me, it's like outside of the bounds of what I ever thought he would say.
Yeah.
So I thought that was just like kind of cool, That's
interesting. Where he's like, "You mess with my family, I mess with yours." So the first thing I actually thought about when I read this verse, I thought about the death penalty. So in my belief system, I've always thought like, "Oh, the death penalty is wrong." Like, who are we to like kill someone? But if you read this verse, it basically says that the death penalty would kind of be warranted. Not saying I don't believe in it, because hey, we know it's not equitably like given to like black people, black men, people of color, people who are poor. So I guess for those reasons I can say I still don't believe in it. But as far as from a biblical lens, at least as far as the Old Testament, this would justify the death penalty. So interesting, because it says if you take a human life, your life should be taken by another human. That's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. I'm sorry. I was thinking about what I said about judgment. I meant Judgment Day. That's what I was thinking about.
I'm all about Judgment Day?
Yeah, like,
what are you talking about?
Like Judgment Day, like you said, like the death penalty, like, like, hey, like, you're in front of the court. What's your judgment after that? Sorry. I just thought about that.
Okay, thank you.
My bad. You don't judge people. So yeah, he's literally saying like blood for blood.
Yeah, that's wild.
He's willing that,
But I guess Jesus gives us a new commandment he says, I told you life for life before, but now I tell you turn the other cheek. So I
mm,
guess that still wouldn't
oh, okay, like,
validate the death
do you
penalty.
know?
Where it is?
Yeah.
I think it says it in Matthew. I could be lying. I don't know.
All right, y'all look
But
it up for us.
yeah, tell us where it
I
says
think
that.
it was might be Matthew. I might get it here. I think it's Matthew 5:21 to 22. I could be lying. So someone looked it up for us. Put it in the chat for us.
Do you want me to Google
Um,
it real quick or no?
yeah, go for it.
Okay,
Don't let
you
me
can
know.
read. You can read something. So Matthew 5:39, turning the other cheek.
No, 5:39. Perfect.
You have
So,
heard eye for an eye, I tell you turn the other cheek. Or you have heard eye for eye, tooth for tooth, but I tell you, do not resist an evil person.
mm,
Turn the other cheek.
well, then you got a little softer.
Wow.
All right. So then God, so at verse 8, God said to Noah and to his son with him, behold, I establish my covenant with you and your offsprings after you, and every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock, the every beast of the earth with you, as
Mm-hmm.
many as came out of the ark, for every beast of the earth. So pretty much his covenant is over anyone through him, after them, creatures, livestock, everything. So we are all supposedly been covered, put through something like this ever again. Um, thought
Did,
that, yeah. What are you gonna say?
did you read verse 11?
No, go for it.
Okay. It's hard to know because of different translations. But yes, I am confirming my covenant with you. Never again will flood waters kill all living creatures. Never
Mm,
again will a flood destroy the earth. So I thought that this was interesting because some people
debate.
believe that God God's promise is that he's just not gonna destroy the earth with a flood, because that's what it says there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you read earlier, which we read in chapter 8, verses 21, God promises, I will never destroy all living things.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel pretty strongly that that means that God's just not going to kill all living things again.
Mm.
But a lot of people do believe that it's just not by flood. So he might destroy us with, I don't know, an iceberg or something.
Fire.
Fire.
Um, I don't know. I guess after reading some of the things that we've read, he's very specific. So if he says he's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna hurt living creatures anymore, how he's talking about, then to me, then he's not gonna take out living creatures. And that could be flood, fire,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And then he gets more specific and saying he's not gonna do it by flood. So
Yeah.
to me, he's saying what he's saying.
Yeah.
You know,
I
that's
think
how I would interpret it.
when we read the Bible, you'll see even in like the Adam and Eve story, it's like sometimes they'll have it, they'll say it twice, and then one will just have more
Mm-hmm. More
detail,
detail.
so it's like it
If you didn't get
feels
the first
redundant.
time, we're gonna let you know the
Yeah.
second time.
Uh-huh. With more details.
More details. And so from this we learn about the bow. And so if we go to Genesis 9:13, it says, I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring the clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the water shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the cloud, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. So, so yeah, you know, in mine it says bow, yours it says
Mine
rainbow.
says rainbow. Yeah.
And so it's interesting when I think of bow. Bows are weapons, right? Bows and arrows. Bows,
Mm-hmm.
when you see like, hunting, gather, that lifestyle, hunting for food or for protection, use a bow. And so when he's saying like when the bow's in the air, like to me, like it sounds like he's hanging up his weapon.
Yeah, like I'm putting my weapon
I'm putting
down.
my weapon down,
Mm-hmm.
you know and it's like a peace treaty,
Mm-hmm.
like it's my peace treaty, like I'm not gonna do the harm. So it's like it shows mercy, that we should, like, when we look up and we see it, it's like God is, he's almighty, can do anything he wants. He's saying that I'm not going to. So I thought that was interesting. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
the
The
use of the
bow.
word
Mm-hmm.
bow.
Well, yeah, laying the weapon down.
And so
Yeah, that's so. I know it's very cute to see you nerd out on these things.
oh, I'm gonna nerd even more for you. So
Oh,
rainbows,
he's not done.
real quick. So rainbows are made through light bending through raindrops. It's called refraction.
uh,
All right. And then the light bounces inside the raindrops and it reflects off through the back of the droplet and it refracts again and separates into the spectrum, what we call light. That's where we get Roy G. Biv.
what's that?
You didn't get the Roy G. Biv back in the day? Red, orange, yellow,
Gosh.
green, blue, indigo, violet to create the rainbow. And that's why everyone sees it. And the thing is, everyone sees the light bend at a different angle. So you got to be at a certain angle to see the light bend as in your vision. And that's where you get the arc, because from the ground you see an arc. If up top, you might see actually a whole circle. So, sorry. Just want to give some reference to how
Don't be
rainbow
sorry.
is made. But God made all that happen, even though it's science.
No, science. I love science because science explains how God works. Like we hear about God, but I just love it when science can confirm, give us like the details and the how to. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty cool.
I know. I kind of looked up like different disasters. Sorry, this sounds bad. I looked up different disasters that had rainbows afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And like a couple of them came. There was one in Hutto back in 2024. The Hurricane Ida recovery. I guess there was some type of rainbow
Rainbow.
that came after all that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was about like 5 different ones. So
So every time we see a rainbow, we should be thinking about God's promise to us.
hmm
Um,
even though it seems whatever, well, it seems it's something devastating is happening. And so our hearts go out right now to Texas.
just had a huge flood,
There's a lot of flooding
a
going
lot of
out,
loss of life,
loss of life, a
really
lot of
devastating.
even New Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Or
There's
Mexico, I'm not sure. Is it Mexico or New Mexico?
it might have been New Mexico.
Okay.
Um, these devastations are happening, and I don't want to like belittle what is happening, because people lost family members and things like that.
Homes.
Homes.
Homes. There's videos of homes just being
Yeah, just
flooded,
like
just like
flooded.
moving, being uprooted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we understand how like these floods can cause major devastation. I mean, we're getting
Mm-hmm.
pictures of it, what it looks like in the Bible, but then also we're seeing it happen in real life.
Like live footage.
Yeah, live footage. And so our hearts do go out for everyone out there that was, affected by all those. And so when you read this stuff, I hope you can really reflect on like what is really happening. This is not no small little puddles. These aren't just like a day at SeaWorld or Slitterbond. These are real devastations that are happening. And God's promise is saying that He's not going to wipe out Earth again in that way. So.
But that he does take like sin like very seriously. Not just that he takes it seriously, but it breaks his heart. Like he created us for goodness. So when we go against that, it breaks his heart. And clearly he believes in justice.
Yes. Not judgment, justice.
Yes.
And the last thing he said, this is a sign of the covenant that I established between me and all flesh is on this earth. He repeats that line a lot. Like
which line?
Like the fact that covenant between flesh and in animals and livestock, and so it's like
true.
He's making this very clear, very well known. If you didn't get the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, I'm letting you know this is my covenant with you.
Yeah, we gotta hear things a lot before we get it.
Yep, exactly. Just like Zendaya. And so
she just actually, you can tell her something once and she still gets it.
Yeah. Mom, I guess. And so yeah, y'all. This is.
She gets it. She might not follow it, but she gets it.
She gets it. Okay. And so this is our 3-part series of Noah. We went through with him building the ark with listening to God's word, and then we saw him through the flood and how he had to keep steadfast to God's plan. And then we saw the promise that he made as he embarked onto new civilization, and how that covenant now actually covers us.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so yeah, appreciate for y'all joining us. These three different episodes that all
Yeah,
came all
thanks for
together.
sticking with us.
Yeah.
If you want some more fun reading, go ahead and keep reading to the end of chapter 9. You'll find all about Noah's sons. There was a little scandal in there. We learned some dirt on Noah. It's pretty entertaining. So
Exactly. Who needs TV when you got the Bible?
for real.
And so yes, y'all, this is our done of our episode today. We wanted to pray our way out. But before that, once again, like and subscribe what we got going on. We're on YouTube as well as on Sunday School Rewind, as well as on Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify. And then we have an animated series. So go check that out. That comes
Yay.
out after these
Sabina
episodes.
and Ross.
Sabina and Ross and Zen. All right. And
Thank
so
you guys for sticking with us. We appreciate you. Can't wait to hear more about your thoughts in the comments.
yep, and let me just pray us out. So, God, thank you for today. Thank you for providing this message. Thank you for bringing us through the journey that Noah had to go through, and allowing us to see that his faith, his obedience allowed us to have the covenant that we now have to protect our own family and our next generation. And so, thank you for the obedience. Thank you for us being obedient for the word, and thank you just for our day. As we go outside and look at the trees, look at the beautiful birds and the sun and the sunrise and sunset, and thank you just for allowing all these things that we can witness every day, that you created for us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
All right, y'all be lovely.
All right.
Peace.
Love you.